Well, let's bring in Ross Feingold. He joins us from Taipei. He is an attorney and a Republican political consultant, as well as director of the Association of Americans Resident Overseas. Ross, just how closely is this being watched by the Republican diaspora?
I think any U.S. presidential election, even without a Donald Trump, would garner a lot of attention, not just in the United States and worldwide. And this cycle will be no different. I try to avoid saying that this is the most important election in your lifetime, because there's always somebody who says that about every election. But whether it's for domestic policy or foreign policy, and whoever wins the Republican nomination, and I think this is important, the policy vision of the Republican is going to be significantly different than the policy vision of Joe Biden.
Well, as we've seen in Patty's report there, campaigning is looking very tricky for other non-Trump candidates, trying not to alienate his supporters. What are their chances of winning them over?
As of now, it looks very slight. Donald Trump has a tremendous lead among likely Republican primary voters. He is still enormously popular with what people like to call the base. And there's actually a very simple explanation for that. For what Republican voters wanted out of a Republican president, President Trump actually delivered on a lot of those items. And some of those notable ones would be appointment of conservative judges, gun control, or not pushing for further regulation of gun ownership, allowing energy companies to do more in that space. And we see, again, quite a contrast when you have a Democrat president who has different policies on almost all of those issues. So Trump remains enormously popular, not necessarily because of going forward, but because of the things that he did that made Republican voters happy during his presidency.
Well, he also did a number of things that have resulted in criminal investigations. And polls suggest, I believe, that the many criminal charges might help him in the primary but could actually hurt him in the general election. Are Republicans taking that into account as they vote?
Clearly, no. So that's why, just like some of the other recent presidential elections, this will come down to a small number of swing states, and then it's going to come down to voter turnout in those swing states. So whether it's women who are upset about the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision and they want to give their votes to Democrats over that issue, or it's minority voters who feel more comfortable with Democrats, although even among minority voters, Republicans have started to do better. So it's going to come down to those swing states and a small number of voters who swing both ways in the swing states. But when it comes to the Republican voters, as of now, they are still solidly behind Donald Trump for the most part, not 100%. But again, he retains a tremendous lead. And it doesn't look like any of these other candidates could say anything at this point in time that's going to change how Republican voters feel about Donald Trump. And we just saw from the report that criticizing Donald Trump starts to get candidates booed off the stage, literally.
Indeed, and we did just see that. Ross Feingold there joining us from Taipei, a Republican political consultant. Always great to talk to you here on Al Jazeera. Ross, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.